Hey, everybody, we're continuing this week with our reminiscences of John F. Kennedy on the 60th anniversary of his assassination. And with us is a special guest. She was a teenager back then, blind from birth. And when Kennedy made his famous appearance in Waterbury, Connecticut, she was there to meet him personally. Now, let me set the stage a little bit. It was 3 in the morning. Kennedy was supposed to be there much earlier, but crowds all along the Naugatuck Valley leading up to Waterbury just held him up. Everybody was out to see him. He finally arrived at 3 in the morning, a cold night, and the crowd was estimated, the remaining crowd was 40 to 50,000 people. And people who documented the campaign later on said that was their indication that Kennedy would be elected because they're drawing that kind of a crowd at 3 in the morning on a cold night in November. So anyway, I was in the crowd. Waterbury is my hometown, down below, waiting for him to appear on the balcony of the Elton Hotel, freezing out in the cold, but anxious to hear him speak and to actually see him appear on the balcony. Now, somebody who was inside, much warmer, the woman I'm about to talk to, who was a teenager at the time, and her name is Esther Levegnale. And she got to speak and meet with Kennedy personally, and she's about to tell us about that. Now, Esther, tell us about that encounter. You were there inside the room before he went out into the balcony, and tell us about that moment.
Yes, I was inside the room, and I was waiting very impatiently because I couldn't wait to meet him. We were waiting inside a room, and then they brought me out when he arrived, and there were huge crowds there, very, very huge crowds. And it was at 3 o'clock in the morning, and nobody wanted to go to bed, for goodness sake.
There was a famous photo of you taken with Kennedy during that moment when you met him, and also
Right,
what became a very famous quote from you, what you said to Kennedy.
right.
So you
I
met Kennedy face to face, and what did you tell him?
I said to him, America needs you. And even I could see that you're the right man.
That was a great
Yeah,
line.
that's what I said.
That was a great line. How did you come up with that?
I don't know. I just made it up.
Yeah. Well, it became instantly
Made it up,
famous. It became instantly famous
I guess.
along with your photo with Kennedy. In fact, I saw it shortly afterwards. It was displayed prominently, not just in the newspaper, but it was in the window of a local camera shop, Caesar's Camera Shop, back then in Waterbury, Connecticut. And that's where I
Right,
saw that
right.
what quickly became a famous photograph. Now, when you told Kennedy that, what did he say to you? Did he touch you? Did he say something to you?
He said to me, I guess I looked like I was ready to cry. And he said, don't cry, Dia. I said, America needs you. And even I could see that you're the right man. And then he said, oh, don't cry, Dia, with his Massachusetts accent.
Yeah, Dia meant what? Dear with a Massachusetts accent.
Yeah, right.
Boston accent.
Right, exactly.
Which was what? Part of his
Exactly.
charm, I guess, right? You liked how he spoke, and you certainly liked the way
Oh, I
that he
did.
was, right? Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, everybody
yeah.
told me how handsome he was.
So it's been 60 years since that moment. It's still just as fresh in your mind.
Oh, absolutely. It's as if it happened yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember it very, very vividly.
And people were approaching you for a long time after that. They saw the picture.
Yes, they were.
And
I
what was
went
it?
to they wanted to shake my hand. And so then I went back to school. I went to the Oak Hill School for the Blind in Hartford, and I said to my students and even teachers, I said, you'll never guess where I was Saturday night. I said, I was at the Elton Hotel in Waterbury, Connecticut, meeting the president-elect JFK, John F. Kennedy. And they were, wow, oh my God. And I said to them, why don't you, would you like to shake the hand that shook the hand of President Kennedy? I said that to my teachers and my house mothers and everybody in the school. So it was a fabulous, fabulous experience.
And you probably got a lot of that over the years, right? Hey, you're the one who met Kennedy.
I did. And, people would come to, I remember when you met President Kennedy, and when they saw me. And it was incredible how people remembered, for such a long time.
Yeah. And, Esther, when you heard of the assassination, what how did that affect you? What went through you? And how did you first hear about it?
Okay. When I learned the assassination, I was at in the bowling alley at Oak Hill School. Right.
Yeah, and well, tell us about that moment. If you had that moment before with the soon-to-be president of the United States, a personal encounter with him, and
right
was another moment of a different nature.
Oh, there certainly were. I was in a gym class, and I was bowling, and I just held the ball in my hand, and I couldn't move, and I could feel my whole body pulsating. And it was, as if as I said, if it happened yesterday, And I just stood there, and I couldn't move. I just couldn't move. And so I decided I wanted to go home Friday night, stay home over the weekend. And as I said, it was Thanksgiving. It was going to be Thanksgiving weekend the following week. And I just didn't want to, I didn't want to be away from home after I heard he was assassinated. So a lady that was in one of my classes, her name was Lenore Girardi. Her parents picked me up and her up, and we drove back to our respective homes.
When you learned of the death of the president whose hand you shook,
yes,
must have been many thoughts going through your mind at that moment, and also for years after that.
Right.
Was it a personal sense of loss to you?
Oh, absolutely. It really was, because I had met him, and it was very personal.
What do you think America lost with the death of John F. Kennedy?
Well, they lost a great man. That's number one. Very well educated, very astute, very knowledgeable. Well, that's all, in there. And I don't know what else to say about him. He was just a fabulous man.
After all these years, you could probably still hear his voice and feel his hand touching yours.
I can. I can hear his voice in my head. I really can. And I remember when he said, ask not what this country can do for you, but what you could do for this country.
Right. I mean, no matter what your politics were and what you thought of Kennedy as a man, as a politician, at the time and for years later, it was an inspirational figure in American history for many people. And you certainly shared a personal moment with him, a historic figure. And the encounter now must seem even more precious to you, considering what.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
You must think about it often.
I do. And as I said, I could still hear his voice in my head too. I mentioned that.
Esther, thanks for sharing your thoughts and your reflections after 60 years. And
oh, you're welcome.
And
it was my pleasure indeed.
I never thought I'd be interviewing that teenager on that picture 60 years ago. And here we are, both Waterburyans, my hometown. I've
Yes,
been away for
right.
years, but I have many fond memories. And now you're part of my association with Waterbury. So very happy to meet you and having you share your.
I'm very honored to have met you as well, Larry.
The honor is mine. Esther, thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of the day, and have a good evening, and have a very, very happy life.
Thank you. And same to you, Esther. Same to you.
Thank you.